Thank you all for joining us today for this is an event for Khalifa University Startup Grind Chapter series of empowering female entrepreneurs in KU. Today we are honored to have one of our students, Fatima Abdallah. She will talk about herself and as well as her business and how did she started it. So, Fatma, please, you can start now.
Hello, I am Fatima Abdallah, a senior biomedical engineer, and today I am going to present about how to start a small business. We will start by a presentation, then short Q&A, a mini tutorial, then a long Q&A. So what is my business about and what inspired me? My business is mostly a clothing brand or merch, which has my own art and mostly handmade. What inspired me is that I always wanted to spread out my artwork and make something useful. I got this idea when I was at my senior year in high school, but unfortunately, showed up and it was a restriction to start a business. I forgot about it. At the same time, I developed my art, started practicing art a lot until I felt that it's the right time to open a small business. So steps to start a small business, I've added 6 steps. You don't need to follow them all, but I see them essential while starting a small business. So the idea, you should have a unique idea or something that would attract customers to your business. In other words, something that no one would have it expect you. For example, some businesses test textiles that the owner and his team drew by themselves and then print it and sell it so they have their own unique design. Or some baking small businesses have special flavors that there aren't available in any store. So you should have your very own unique idea and then go to the next step. So the next step is creating a mood board. So it contains the main points or main features about your small business. It can be some pictures, sketches, or keywords. This will help you to get deeper into your idea and your thoughts will get more organized. So on the left, these are some pictures that I used before. So you can see that the hoodie and tote bags are just pictures and the design is just on top of them. They aren't real. It's just to see how would they look. And then some pictures of the packaging. On the right side, you can see someone's business mood board. So it doesn't have to be really organized. It depends on you and how do you like to organize your thoughts. You can also use Pinterest to like save pins and then view them whenever you want. So branding, the third step, which is branding. So simply branding is finding a name for your business and then creating the logo, packaging, thank you cards, anything that you will need to post. Even creating social media posts. This step is so essential and so important because the social media has a big influence on small businesses, and branding your business will create a higher opportunity to get it spread out over social media. You can do this step alone if you have the skill set, but if not, you can ask for help and let someone do it for you. It's important to add like your own style so it makes your business more unique. For testing, So for testing, you should make a list of multiple materials you can use and get small proportions and test them. It's better to let your friends and family members to test your product out, because sometimes you can't see the problems in your own product, but when you have multiple opinions and perspectives, you can like know what's the problem or even get more ideas. I did this for a month before launching or maybe 2 months before launching my small business. I gave it to some of my friends and family members to test them out. So while I tested the materials, I found that there should be a certain temperature to press out the designs. Like each fabric had a different heat temperature. For example, cotton needed 210, meanwhile polyester needed for about 80. The fifth step, which is budget planning. So keep in mind that not all businesses need a high budget. It really depends on what you are selling and the stuff you are getting. Some businesses start with less than 1K and some start with a really high budget. But in my point of view, it's better to start small, and when your business grows up, then you can like increase your budget or add more products to your small business. So how to plan your budget? I prefer to make a list and like split the list into two categories. The first category, which is the general category, you will add here the price of machines that you are using. For example, also you can add if you let someone to do your branding, you can add the cost here. Anything related in your business in general. It also can be the apps that you bought or the license that you got. And the second category, which is the product, it's anything related to the product itself. For example, if you are creating a perfume, you will add the cost of the liquid of the perfume, the bottle of the perfume, the packaging, and if you needed the shipping costs only. Also. So covering the cost of the general category might take a long time. It might take months or even more than 1 year. But for the product, you will cover the costs at the same time you sell the product. So how to set up price for the product? There are two ways to set up a price for your product. Way one is to see how much your product costs and then see the price range of similar products on the internet, small businesses, or even in real stores or stores on like in malls. The second way is to calculate the cost and then divide the cost by 2. This will be the benefit that you will get from your product, and then add the cost with the benefit to get the overall price. But keep in mind, in both cases, you should ask yourself, is the price suitable for my customers? And will the price be much higher than the stores? If it was much higher and if it was not suitable, then there is something that you have to change. For example, you might need to change the products, or you change the way you are doing this stuff. So marketing. Luckily, nowadays it's much easier to market your products and your small businesses than before. So nowadays, for example, Instagram has an ad feature which you can like set a price range, or you can set a location range, time range, and days range, and then it will give you the price for the advertisement you are doing, and then it will give you a data about the interactions to your post, how many people visited your account and the post views. The second way is is asking social media influencers to advertise your product. Some influencers take the product only, and some influencers will ask for money. There's a big range, and you can see what's suitable for you. Number 3, events such as KU Bazaar. You can like spread out your business in the university at KU Bazaar. The fourth one is exhibitions by some organizations. For example, the picture here shows an exhibition which was called Fridge Souq, which had like small businesses of the people who lived in that area, and they just they didn't take money from them. They just gave them the opportunity to present their products. So it's a great like thing if you want to do it. So difficulties. I faced some difficulties while starting my small business. So one of the difficulties was that I have no place to take a photo of the products. So I asked my friend to help me to do it, and she helped me. And then you can see like before and after pictures. The second difficulty is that the materials I was getting, the price of these materials kept increasing over time. So what I had to do is like to get another materials and then start testing them out again. So like returning to the testing step again. So skill sets that you need to start a small businesses. This skill set can be into two categories: the practical or the creative ones, and the one that's like the personal skills that are in your personality. For example, the practical ones, many people think that they should be an artist or graphic designers to start a successful business, but that's not true. You can see what you master, and then get out a creative idea from it, and then start a small business. Meanwhile, the personal skill set, for example, you need time management. It's so important since we are students and we have to like organize between our studies and the small business. If you started a small business and then you felt overwhelmed by your studies and small businesses, you can just like stop the orders until you get everything settled and then continue. Another skill set, this skill set really depends on if you just want to stay on social media or go to events, which is the communication skill. If you are staying in like behind the social media and not going out to people, then you don't really need a communication skill. But if you are going to exhibitions and events, then you need to improve your communication skills. The third skill, which is planning and budgeting, and I think this skill will get better when you practice more. So partners and collaboration. So I usually do my business alone or with the help of my sister. But sometimes I use partners such as the delivery guy, or as I said before, my friend who helped me to take the pictures. You can do also collaborations with other people. For example, there was a small business who had an event planning, and the owner of this small business collaborated with a baking business. So they put like their stuff together, and both of them got famous in like months. So that was the end of the presentation, and it's time for the short Q&A.
Thank you very much, Fatima. That was a great session. We will now take in like 1 or 2 questions if anybody has a question before we proceed with a tutorial. Does anybody have any questions? Okay, cool. Since we do not have any questions right now, oh, there is. Amna is asking if there is an effective way to market, an effective way of marketing.
The problem is with marketing that it's not always guaranteed. Like you can really spend high amount of money on something or marketing place, and then you don't get the benefit from it. So it's really like risky. So but an effective way is like when you ask someone to market for you, you should see the people who follow this person, and if these people who follow this person are the same type of people who will be your customers, then it will be more effective than just going to a random group of people.
Thank you very much, Fatima. We will take another second question very quickly. Thank you very much, Amna. We will take a second question if there is not, but until we receive a second question, you can start setting up your quick demo. Nora is asking, how do you come up with original ideas?
I just like scribble on a paper or on Procreate, and then just I keep scribbling, and then I see what I like and I do them.
Thank you very much. We will now move on to the demo.
So in this mini tutorial, I will show you a bit how do I work on my small business and what apps or techniques do I use. So first of all, I use this cutting machine. There are many types of machines like this, but I settled on this one. And since this, and like you can choose whatever you like, it depends on what you are going to do. The advantage of these machines that you can do like many projects. They are uncountable. For example, you can do keychains, bookmarks, stickers, boxes, t-shirts, hoodies, like they are endless, and you can just like search up for them, and you will see that they are like really a lot, and like every day there are more like ideas coming on. So this machine has like 2 main parts. The first main part, which is on the left, you can see like 2 arrows. It's under the on button. This one is like when you want to enter the mat or take off the mat. The second one is when you want to start, and the third one is when you want to pause. The second picture is the place where you place the blades, and like these two are the main components in the whole device. So what I initially do is have my sketch on Procreate, and sometimes I fixed it on Photoshop, but you can use any app that you are familiar with. The most important thing is to download the design that you did without a background. So now I will open the app so you can see how does like everything works. So this app can be downloaded on the laptop. It's suitable with Mac and Windows. You can also download this app on your iPad. So when you create an account, you will have this page popped up, and this, when you connect your device to your laptop or iPad, the initial information of the device will be on this place. So you will start by clicking on a new project. And then there are some icons here. So you click on upload, and then upload an image. Here you can like drop a file of your design here, and then you will find them, the designs that you uploaded, you will find them here. And you can like choose you can choose the designs. You can choose up to 15 at once, but here I'll show you only 2. So you click on them and then click on this. And then the designs will upload here. So here you can zoom in and zoom out to see everything clear. There are here some more like features, for example, if you want to add a shape or a text, but they are mostly not for free. You have to pay for a membership. I'm not sure how much it is, but like you can use other apps instead of using their features. So here in the operation, which is called the basic cut, since the machine can do many stuff, you can choose what do you want to do from here. And then this one, the color changer, or you can like choose the colors, because when you upload the design, it will be all black. So you can choose the colors. So when you add the material on the map, you can know like when to add what color. So here's the offset. You mostly use it when you are dealing with really tiny projects or words or letters. From here you can change the size. It's important to have the lock always on, because if you like you open the lock and then like for example you change the height, then you want then your design will get compressed. But if you had the lock on and change the size, your design will like be bigger or smaller on a fixed proportion. So that's mostly like the stuff you will need to know how to use the app, and then you will press on make it. Then I can't open it now because the machine is not available right now, but when you press on make it, then you can choose the material type you are using, and it will like tell you what type of blade to use, and that's it.
Thank you very much, Fatma. That was very interesting and very educational. We will now go back to the slides as we have wrapped up our tutorial. Please let us know if you have any questions. We are more than happy to address them. And yeah, we're gonna have a long Q&A right now. If you have any questions, let them all out. Until we get other questions, Fatma, I have some questions of my own for you. For example, you said that when you upload something to Cricut, you get it as a black picture. Let's say that I want to print and cut a colored picture. Once I upload it to Cricut, it will become all black. Is that what you meant?
It's just if you want to cut it, it will be black. But if you want to print, when you upload the design, there will be an option says that you want to print and cut or just print. So if you press on print and cut, the app itself will ask you first to print the design, and then when you upload it to the machine to cut it, it will cut depending on the colors. It has some kind of sensor that will cut like directly over.
So the colors you were talking about earlier were just like a display color or like selecting zones, basically?
Yes.
That's very interesting. Saeed is asking, if you ever make a piece that maybe the stitching did not look the best, what would you do with the piece? And has that ever happened to you?
I usually don't do stitching, but I do press heat. And yes, it happened multiple times during the testing phase. And sometimes it happens even like when I'm doing the orders. What I do is I just give the project to my siblings and they use it. And they don't mind.
Thank you very much. I hope this answered your question, Said. Please, if you have a further question or a follow-up question, feel free to. He's laughing and he says thank you. Muhammad is asking, how did you get the designs? How did you come up with the ideas and so on and so forth?
I draw them by myself. Sometimes I look for inspiration, but mostly I like draw them by myself, or sometimes someone asks me for a specific theme, and then I do it for them. So it depends.
Salama is asking, what do you consider to be the most interesting part of the designing process?
The most interesting part is when you see the design like popping out and becoming real. So that's the most interesting.
So it's really nice to see your ideas come to life. Like they are all very electronic until you get to touch them with your own hand. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes.
Fatma is asking a bit more about the applications that you use to create the designs. You did mention Procreate. Do you want to expand on that?
Yes, I use Procreate, and I use sometimes Photoshop if I want like to print a text. These are the most two apps that I use. Indeed, my sister also uses this app, but she prefers working on Canva. So she like do the design on Canva and then go to Photoshop and remove the background. So it really depends on what you like using.
That's very interesting. There is absolutely no limitation to the application that you can use. And to my understanding, Canva is very close to Microsoft PowerPoint and stuff like that. So it's very, very interesting to see how easy it is to come up with a design as long as you have the creativity and you have the drive. Thank you very much for your question. Abdullah is asking, what about the business license? Do you need to be registered at the beginning when you're trying a new business, or do you register it after you expand?
Mostly it's after you expand, but sometimes when you want to like go to an exhibition, they will ask you for a license. You can't do it without a license.
I suppose at the beginning when you're a small business or just like very small area, you are considered as an artisan. So I don't think you would need a business for that. Is that what you're saying? You don't need the license at the very beginning, but you did mention that some exhibitions might ask for it?
I don't know about the digital businesses, but like any business in general, you need a license. And there are license depending on what you are selling, depending on how is your business. And you can just type in Google and then you will see the license that you have to get.
Nora is asking, how can you balance between being a student and having a startup?
What I mostly do is like keep my studying over the weekdays, and on the weekends I set a day or day and a half to do the business. And when I'm overwhelmed with my studies, I just stop accepting orders until everything goes back like to its place, and then take orders again.
That's an interesting idea, and I believe it's a very valuable concept to organize your work and divide the workload so that you can do everything, but within specific periods of time. I can understand your point. The important thing is that not to overwhelm yourself, but try to divide everything and organize everything so that you can do your best in every single way. Thank you very much for your questions. Is there any further questions? Okay, well, we get more questions on the chat. Can you tell us a bit more about the problems that came up in the testing process? You did mention that sometimes you did end up having to give away some of your designs to your siblings, and they were more than happy to have them. I can imagine that. Can you tell us a bit more about what ended up happening?
So sometimes the color isn't the color that I want, or sometimes while pressing on the design, not all of the design get pressed, and then I have like some pieces of the design flying away. Sometimes the machine lags and don't cut the vinyl. The vinyl is the thing that I press, so sometimes it just don't like cut it regularly. Sometimes it gets melts lot like it got melted a lot at the beginning while before launching the business, because as I said before, like I didn't know the really right temperature. And even though you see like the manual for the temperatures, it's not always correct.
That's very interesting. Sometimes when you experiment with something, it's very, very different from what is written or what you can find online. I guess this kind of highlights the importance of experimenting and testing. Even if you're sure that everything is going to be perfect, always test it and test it again to see how it would look like in reality. While we get another question, I also wanted to ask you about, you mentioned that there are other types of machines. What other types of machines did you consider, and how did you make that decision to buy the specific one that you currently have?
To be honest, I don't really remember the names of all machines that I searched up. But when I Googled about my machine, I found that it was good for just starting and testing things out. From this machine, it had like two options. The first one, it works with only 100 materials, but this one works with 300, and like the price difference wasn't much. Like it was maybe only 200. So I preferred going with the one that cuts more than 300 materials over the one that cuts 100 materials.
I see. So you really had to really search out there and find machines that were within the same price range approximately, but some of them had more functions than others. Was it because of the brand name, or was it just like a coincidence or something like that?
It was because of the brand name, the year of production, and it was like also for the import fees and like many stuff.
I see. That's very, very interesting. I think that's about it. We are not having any new questions. So I believe everybody is satisfied with the presentation thus far. We only have like 5 to 10 minutes left. Do you have any like final words you want to say, or anything that you wanted to talk about but didn't get the time to talk about?
No, I think I covered like the most of the things that I wanted to say.
Thank you so much, Fatima. Thank you so much. It was very interesting and informative. Thank you guys for joining. We'll see you later, inshallah. Thank you, guys. Thank you.